Hey everyone, and welcome to From the Gut, the podcast powered by Debbie's Dream Foundation, curing stomach cancer. This is where we share bold conversations, raw stories, and powerful breakthroughs in the world of stomach cancer, told by the people living it and leading it. I'm your host, Monique, and today we're diving into cancer survivorship, an important but not very much talked about topic. What is survivorship? What does being a survivor mean? What resources are available after treatment is done? And how does life go on? These questions and more will be discussed during today's podcast. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on YouTube or follow us wherever you're listening. Spotify, Apple, Amazon, you name it. Our guests today are Yoli Day, a stomach cancer survivor. We also have Dr. Amelie Ramirez, director of the Avanzando Caminos Leading Pathways Hispanic Latino Cancer Survivorship Study, and Dr. Derek Rodriguez, who is the program manager. Our guests are based out of the University of Texas at San Antonio, but the study also extends to the University of Miami. Welcome, Yoli. Welcome, Dr. Ramirez, and welcome, Dr. Rodriguez.
Hey, thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
So we are all grateful you are all here today to share your stories, expertise, and insights. Dr. Ramirez and Dr. Rodriguez, my first question to you is, what is the work that you do and why is it important that you do it?
Well, our work is very important to our Hispanic community. You know, we represent about 20% of the U.S. population right now, but very few studies have been directed to understand the similarities and differences among our communities, since we involve a wide spectrum of different nationalities, involving European ancestry, European, Native American, and even Afro-Caribbean in our lineage. And so we really want to know more about how does cancer impact our community, and and then if you have cancer, what is your quality of life after you've been diagnosed with cancer?
Dr. Rodriguez?
Absolutely. No, to follow up on that, cancer is the leading cause of death among Hispanic and Latinos in the United States. And so for many years, this has been kind of like a group of individuals that have not been clinically served in research, for example. And so more and more continuously be affected by cancer. And so it's essential to prioritize communities like these in clinical studies to work towards improving their survivorship experience. And so this kind of led to the Avanzando Caminos study, which is a national Cancer Institute funded study here at UT Health San Antonio and Mace Cancer Center, the first of its ever kind study that looks at the overall post-life of cancer survivors.
Thank you for sharing. So what inspired the creation of the Avanzando Caminos study? And what impact do you hope it will have on Hispanic/Latino cancer survivorship?
Really, this is an initiative that was started with a colleague of mine, Dr. Frank Benedo from the University of Miami. He and I have been working together on different research projects of looking at issues impacting cancer in Hispanics for over the last 20 years. And he has really developed a specialty area in survivorship. He's a psychologist himself. And we came to our studies led to, nobody is really studying after the fact what's happening. We did studies together looking at how can we reduce risks in our community, what happens and when do our patients get diagnosed inside a clinical setting. And then we started doing some survivorship studies, but this now is a national study looking at the diversity of our population. And it's, as Derek mentioned, it's the first of its kind that has ever been funded. And together we're going to recruit over 3,000 Hispanics, 1,500 from the South Florida area and 1,500 from the South Texas area.
All right, that's amazing. In fact, Dr. Rodriguez, you shared a startling statistic to me, which I was not aware of, is that, cancer is one of the number one or leading causes of death for Latinos in the United States. Why is that? Do you all know, or is there any study towards why that is the case?
Yeah, absolutely. It all essentially attributes to, again, the availability of having information from this community being disposable to them. We have what are called non-medical drivers of health that are associated and highlighted more so in this community, or I should say, need to be more highlighted in the community because, um, where you live matters and it impacts your health. Not a lot has to do with kind of like your medical attributes. In fact, a lot of demographically what's going on with individuals, especially in the Hispanic Latino community, we don't know much about. And so because of this, the food that we eat, the place where we live at, the interactions that we hold within communities as far as education, medical assistance, it differs in this community. And so not much is known about that. And because of that, we have higher incidences of cancers, like I said, increasing. Statistically, it's shown that about 143% increase in Hispanic Latinos will have had cancer within the next few years, at least by 2030. So it's being a more invested field and more prominent type of call to action for us as researchers moving forward.
And I'd like to just add, Monique, that really an attributable risk for this is the lack of screening. Our community does not come in early enough for screening, and oftentimes, as Derek mentioned, the non-medical drivers of health, one of them is not having the health insurance, right, to come in for those screenings. But what we see is due to that delay in screening, our patients are being diagnosed with more advanced cancers. So, their treatments are harder and not all treatments are as effective for them. So the real difference is not coming in for screening early enough, therefore being diagnosed at a later stage, and their 5-year survival is not as good.
Thank you. Thank you to you both for answering. So, what are some of the biggest challenges Hispanic Latino cancer survivors face, and how does this study aim to address them?
Well, one of them is this is the first study of its kind. We've never really have taken the opportunity to ask our survivors, what was your experience like? And in fact, once we contact these individuals and once they say yes, and Yoli is one of our participants in the study, once they say yes, they actually share their story with us, of what their journey was like. We want to learn from them. How can we make a difference? How can we make that journey better? And so many of our participants have told us, thank you for taking the time to do this study. This is the first time that I've shared with anybody what I went through, not even my family, and so oftentimes our survivors are warriors. They've been through a lot. These treatments are not easy. And they sometimes are just so brave that they don't share it with anyone. And so this is an opportunity for us to learn more about how can we make the care better? How can we make our follow-up better? How can we make sure that they have a transition plan that once their cancer is cured, and we're getting better at that they have a plan that they can go back to their primary care doctor, but have the information that they need to get that appropriate follow-up care.
Thank you. What role does federal funding play in advancing this research? Because, of course, as you all have mentioned, this is the first time this is ever being conducted. And what are the biggest funding challenges going on right now?
Well, like all, doing cancer research is getting more expensive. Our treatments are getting more expensive. And so without that novel opportunity to find out what works best, it's we can't move the needle very much. And so having a federal investment is extremely important. Obviously, we're all kind of concerned in the current climate what might happen to that. So we need organizations such as yours to really encourage people to let their voices be heard about the importance of supporting cancer research. Oftentimes we don't do a good job to say, look at all the advances we've made. More people are surviving cancer now. We have about 18 million cancer survivors now total throughout the United States, and things are getting better. But again, without the research and the knowledge that we had prior to that, we couldn't make these advancements.
Thank you. So, what are the long-term goals of the study? I believe you stated you wanted up to 3,000 participants in the study, or patients rather. And how do you envision its findings shaping future cancer survivorship programs?
Well, based on the information that we learned, we will share it with our providers, with our different cancer centers, so that they can make internal improvements, maybe getting better nutrition programs available to our cancer survivors. There's just a number of ways, having more psychologists available. How can we better prepare our patients for potential treatment side effects, and giving them the information that they need to better prepare for that outcome? And how can we work with their families? Because also being a cancer survivor can produce a hardship on the caretakers, and so how can we involve the entire family in our cancer survivors' journey?
How can we, involve the community as well, right? Because we have breast cancer support groups out there. We have um, minimal support groups that, look to invest their help and resources in systemic cancer survivors, for example, at least here in San Antonio. So, we can imagine this having an impact in other cancer types moving forward. We do take information, not just verbal information about what the survivor tells us, but also, their heart health, their immune health, right? We take genetic information, as Dr. Ramirez mentioned, since cancer survivors are a multitude of multicultural ethnic individuals. How can this, very well in tune serve as precision medicine, within the next 10, 20 years? So there's a lot of information that we kind of hone on that the possibilities are endless as far as seeing the outputs of this project.
Thank you. So, this is to you, the audience. If you find this valuable, please take a second to subscribe, but also, most importantly, share this with someone who needs it. All right? Now, Dr. Ramirez and Dr. Rodriguez, how do you ensure that participants feel supported and engaged throughout the study?
Well, we work very closely with our patient navigators that are in our cancer centers. And also we have devoted teams to provide the support that they need throughout the whole continuum. And unfortunately, we don't always have the best outcomes that we would like for all our survivors, and some need to be educated in terms of what is palliative care and when is it the best time to involve somebody who can share with them and the family to make their life as comfortable as possible. But we look for the best outcomes possible that they will lead. A healthy life. Over 78% of our survivors are 60 years or older. So we are making some tremendous progress in terms of survivorship. So it's really important that they get diagnosed early, they come in for those treatments, and have a comprehensive supportive cancer team.
Thank you. With that said, so you just stated get diagnosed early and then come in and be a part of the study. So does it depend on, well, basically what I'm trying to ask is how long is the study for if someone wanted to participate in it? And is it dependent upon the stage that they're in? Or I'd rather just have you all answer that accordingly.
Well, a survivor is anyone who is who has been from the time of diagnosis throughout the balance of their life. But in our case, we are looking for survivors who have just completed their last treatment within the last 6 months of their cancer diagnosis and are not undergoing active treatment. And we're looking at 8 different cancers. And Derek can probably rattle them off a little bit better than I can since he's in the day-to-day work with this. But there's 8 different cancers that we're looking at, and we find that our breast cancer patients are amazing. They step up to want to volunteer immediately, but such prostate, stomach is more difficult, right? Because it's diagnosed at a much later stage. We don't have as many people to call on to participate in this study.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the completed primary treatment for breasts, as Dr. Ramirez mentioned, colorectal, kidney, liver, lung, prostate, stomach, and uterine cervical cancers are the 8 types of cancers that we're looking to. We're currently trying to recruit participants within the next 3 years. So even if they completed their treatment, and let's just say they're not ready to share their journey or their story with us, and that's fine because we understand it's a very traumatic time, very emotionally draining as well. And so we understand that whenever they're ready, we'll be here to enroll them and to listen to their journey.
Thank you. So you both have shared some outstanding statistics as far as participants who've already participated in the study. So my next question to you is, how do you measure success in a study such as this?
Well, our goal for the South Texas area and South Florida is 1,500, reaching out to 1,500 cancer survivors and following them for as long as possible, or at least throughout the duration of our study. We find that once we enroll the individuals, that they stay with us. But we had a much higher rate of non-participants. Again, people kind of concerned about what research is all about. We do draw blood, and then we follow them up on a regular basis. But once they participate in the study, they are great. We're having 90% retention rates, and so we're really excited about that. A little bit of unexpected was that the number of people that we contacted, either some had already passed away, or some had their cancer return, and so they were under treatment again. And then we had a much higher kind of refusal rate than anticipated. And so those are kind of challenges that we're learning how to work through. But we have an amazing bilingual, bicultural team that really reaches out to our community and makes our patients feel welcome. And so part of it is that we really want to better understand that journey and how can we improve it over time.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Ramirez and Dr. Rodriguez, for sharing your valuable insights and as physicians for one, and then a deeper understanding of the Avanzado Caminos study. I mean, we learned so much from the both of you, at least for me, as far as the statistics and everything. Thank you so much for sharing. So now let's switch up the gears and turn the coin over to the other side and hear perspectives from a cancer survivor. So again, hi Yoli.
Hi,
How are you?
doing good. Thank you.
Good, good, good. Now, before we begin to explore your stomach cancer survivorship story, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I am a grandma of 3 boys, a 15-year-old, a 8 year, oh, yeah, how old is he? Yeah, 15, 11, and 8 year old boys, and they're my heart. They're my heart. I've got 4 kids. I'm married. wonderful husband, and a great family support group that have been with me through every step of my journey. So yeah, I'm blessed.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you so much, Yoli. So, can you share a bit about your journey with stomach cancer and what led you to participate in this study?
I was diagnosed with stomach cancer in 2021 after just feeling very fatigued and thinking that it was my age and weight related reason for my fatigue. And, long story short, ended up going to the hospital, getting blood transfusion, finding the tumor, and diagnosed with stomach cancer in uh, summer of 2021. And by December, they had taken my stomach out. So it was pretty fast journey. Had chemo and radiation throughout those few months. Um, so that happened pretty quickly. You don't really have time to even process what's going on. And before it was all over, right? And then thank God, you're told you don't have a cancer anymore. You don't have a stomach, but you don't have cancer. So it's wonderful and you're overjoyed. But then you got to figure out how to deal with that, right? And then, what does it mean to not have a stomach? What does it mean to look for a new normal when it comes to eating and everything else that goes with that? So, first few months, you're just recovering from the surgery and you're thanking God that everything went so well. And then you're sitting there thinking, okay, but I've got this going on. And then you ask why, and not very many people can explain it to you, why we go through what we go through without a stomach. And so you keep asking questions, you keep going to different doctors, and then pretty much um, you rely on other people who are going through the same journey, like people that are with Debbie's Dream. And the Debbie's Dream Foundation has been amazing because we have a group of people that we work together and help each other with the problems that we're going through. But yet, on the medical side, there isn't very many people we can go to. So one day I was picking up my grandkids from school and I get a call from this lovely young lady. I mean, I don't usually take calls from strangers, but her voice was so sweet. She was so engaging. And she was from Dr. Ramirez and Dr. Rodriguez's team. And she said, we found your name through our UT Health records, and we've got the study. And she started telling me about it. I'm like, oh my God, of course. Yes, I need this. We all need this. We need some research to help us figure out what do we do after we've had cancer, after we've been considered NED. What do we do? And so immediately I agreed to participate in the study. And coincidentally, I was also in the middle of coordinating a Zumbathon for Debbie's Dream Foundation to try and raise some funds. So I engaged them to come help me, and they were wonderful. They came and joined us at that event. And so our relationship has just grown. I can't say how thankful I am to them for what they're doing, and then what we will continue to do together to help our community understand what we go through as survivors, and help Dr. Ramirez and Dr. Rodriguez get the 3,000 people that they need for their study, and I want to help them do that also.
All right, thank you so much. Can you just go a little bit deeper and just share some details as to how participating in the Avanzando Caminos study influenced your survivorship experience overall?
Well, the participation I mean, it's an easy process. So that's why I tell everybody, if you need to join, you need to help. You do is you talk to these folks, you answer a bunch of questions. I think once in a while we've got to give some blood. I mean, that's it. That's the extent of it. But knowing that I have a group of people looking at my problems and looking for solutions, that has helped my survivorship considerably. And just knowing that I may not have somewhere to go to today, a resource today, or we people like me don't have it, but we will because of this study. So definitely we'll continue with the study, and I will definitely continue to be an advocate for others to join, and which is the reason we have this podcast, because I really wanted them to showcase what they're doing to more people than, than they do today. Kind of open it up to more people so they can join.
Yes, in fact, it's so glad to have all three of you, but having you be a part of this particular episode because as Dr. Ramirez and Dr. Rodriguez shared an outstanding statistic of a 90% retention rate. When it comes to different things like this, retention rate can be all across the gamut, right? But 90% is very large, and the fact that you just explained, oh, answer some questions, take blood from time to time. So I'm glad to hear that. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced as a cancer survivor?
Uh, in my case, I have some digestive, digestion issues, and my understanding is different patients who have had total gastrectomies, like I have, their issues may be a little different than mine. They're not all the same. But my biggest challenge is getting someone to tell me, what do I do to fix it? The first thing I hear is eat better. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? But what does that mean exactly? Because eating better to you may not be the same for me. So there isn't a guideline. There isn't a guideline. And so far, everything that I've been given um, has not worked. And the medicines that they give me just recently, I just had another one prescribed for me. And when I start looking it up, it's for a whole other, it's for cholesterol problems. I don't have high cholesterol. And I'm like, why did you give me this medicine? I'm not going to take something that's supposed to help my digestive that's going to hurt something else. So I just don't think that. And I know that a lot of our community doesn't understand what I'm going through. The doctors I saw recently asked me, "So how does that work? So how does that work when you're not having a stomach?" And I'm like, "Shouldn't you know?"
Right.
Shouldn't you know, should I? But so the biggest challenge is specifically, I have some digestive problems, which then affect my ability to absorb nutrients, which then affect other things. I recently broke my arm quite severely, and the surgeon said should not have broken that way, but because my bones have been affected by the lack of nutrients because I'm not retaining anything that I eat, or not much of what I eat. So um, primarily those are my specific problems. Others have different issues, but those are mine. Oh, and
Yeah.
swallowing. I do have developed a little problem with swallowing my food. And so I've been given these tests, and this 2 weeks ago I went to a gastroenterologist who said, no, those tests you were given are for naught because you have no motility in your esophagus. So why test motility when you don't have any? So bottom line, maybe you should just go on a liquid diet and puree your foods. And I'm like, no, can there be something else? But because they just don't see that there's anything else they can do, I just have to eat better, I guess, again, eat slower.
No, thank you for
I just
sharing all
wanted to
of
say,
that.
some of the things that Yoli's saying, Monique, is what we're trying to learn, because we
Right.
ask a whole series of questions about nutrition and just follow-up care. And so for the different types of cancer, because as Yoli mentioned, it's a little different for everybody, so what are some of the common side effects that science has not quite developed, right, Yoli, in terms of giving you the right nutritional information she needs to make her quality of life better. And so that's what these types of studies that we're trying to do are so important.
That's why it was so exciting for me to hear about and participate in this study, is just I just need some answers.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I can only imagine the frustration just from the mere fact if the doctor didn't know what is supposed to happen or what's going on, and you're like, wait a second, but you're the doctor, you're supposed to know. So from that to, the other side effects, and I'm sorry to hear about your arm. Hopefully it's on the mend and it's doing better. But I can just only imagine the immense frustration just through going through all of that. With that said, how has your perspective on life changed since your diagnosis?
I'm living life to its fullest. And I've got my challenges. It's hard for me to get out of the house at times because of what I'm going through, but I figure out how to do it. I got to do it because life is too short. And from one day to another, your life just changes. And so living life to the fullest is what I have to do. And I do.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, you mentioned that you have planned a Zumbathon with Debbie's
Yeah.
Dream Foundation. So my next question to you is, how did you get involved with Debbie's Dream Foundation, and what role has community and support played in your survivorship journey?
Okay. So, in my quest to get some answers, I asked my oncologist surgeon, the questions that I had, and he told me to call Debbie's Dream Foundation. So I did, and I at first engaged with them as a mentor for them, and I was just newly uh, a new survivor. So I didn't have all the answers to be a mentor, but I had mentors throughout my journey. So I felt like I needed to give back. So I thought, I'm going to be a mentor. I'll share what I know and I'll let them know I don't know it all. But so it started with that as a mentor. And then from then, I became an advocate for them and I started going to uh, their advocacy days once a year to go to Washington and advocate for stomach cancer. I've recently been asked to be part of their board of directors. But more when you ask me how it affect my community, so because of my mentor, being a mentor and an advocate, I started helping doing fundraising events and trying to spread awareness in my community about stomach cancer and about Debbie's Dream Foundation. So the Zoomathon was my second annual event to try and spread awareness and get some funding that we use then in turn for advocacy days and for our advocacy programs. So being out in the community and sharing our story and letting them know the Debbie's Dream Foundation is here to help others that are going through the same thing I went through is very important for me. And now that I can partner with a team like Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Ramirez team and the UT Health Science folks, it's been amazing. I just participated in a walkathon with UT Health, and our booth was right next to Dr. Rodriguez's booth. So it was a lot of fun, and I had never participated in a walk like that. It was amazing seeing the people and the passion that they have for making a difference and being a part of that. So yeah, that's how it's affected me and my community.
So, Yoli, what message would you share with others who are considering joining this study?
Oh, please do so immediately. That you have nothing to lose. We go once. What is it, Dr. Rodriguez? Once I even forget how often we go because it's not that often. You know what?
More, right?
Yeah, I mean, so it's zero time almost, invested in doing this. And like I said earlier, answering a few questions, giving blood work every once in a while, but that's it. That's all you have to do. So my message is join because even if you don't have a whole lot of questions right now after your journey, there are so many people that are still at a loss out there that don't know where to go, don't have the answers that they need. And this study is going to give us that. So while while your doctor can give you some information, I think this study is going to give us so much more, so many more resources for us to go to and to use to help us lead a better life and lead and live our life to its fullest. So join immediately.
And to build upon that, how do you think research like this can improve the future of cancer care for Hispanic Latino communities?
Well, I think that just opening up more resources in the community and giving the Latino community the information that they need, that and the resources that they need easily accessible to them, right? And I think that's what this will do. Dr. Ramirez said they're going to go to the providers, they're going to go to organizations like Debbie's Dream Foundation. So what I'm hoping is that there will be additional resources in which these survivors can get the information that they need, where they don't have to go look for it, where it's easily accessible, you know?
Sure. Yes, most definitely. Well, thank you so much, Yoli, for your storytelling and valuable perspective. Hearing your story will be so valuable and also to help other gastric cancer patients and patient Hispanic Latino patients in general. And so we thank you for being a part of this podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so let's open it up to all of our guests, right? But before we do so, if you find this valuable, please take a second to subscribe and share this with someone who you feel needs it or who you feel needs to participate in this study. So, what challenges do survivors commonly face that people might not realize, and how does the program address them? So we can hear it from both sides, from Yoli, your perspective as a survivor, and also, Dr. Ramirez and Dr. Rodriguez as the physicians. I'll state it one more time. What challenges do survivors commonly face that people might not realize, and how does the program address them?
Well, I can jump in and just answer your first part of your question. Is
Okay.
a couple of challenges. One is, as I stated earlier, is just having some difficulties that doctors can't answer, right? But another one is a mental challenge. Is a challenge of is this pain, is this ache a cancer coming back? It's just the fear that I may be NED today, but I may not be tomorrow. So there is an emotional, a mental fear that could be crippling at times if you let it get to you. So that, along with the actual physical medical problems, are two challenges that I think we face as survivors.
And Yoli, you've articulated it very well. That's the number one concern that our survivors have. Will my cancer come back, and how soon? And so again, it's each cancer. It all depends on the time it was diagnosed and the treatments that were available. And treatments are evolving, right? And sometimes for some of our lung cancer patients, I just recently had a friend that passed away to lung cancer, and I kept telling her, if you can just stay strong enough for the next treatment, because it's just around the corner. And so we're constantly coming up with new therapies, but some of our therapies don't extend life as much as they should and or would like. And so therefore we're focusing on what's the balance of quality of life, or extending 6 months. But what did you go through with those cancer treatments? And so those are the challenges. These are real life challenging issues that our patients face and our doctors face. We have such a compassionate care of providers at our Mays Cancer Center. We're really fortunate. And we're opening up our first hospital that is called the Multi-Specialty Research Hospital, where here, you may not even know that if a cancer patient is being treated at the cancer center, and in the middle of the night, you're having severe pain, instead of going to the ER, now you can come to the ER at our cancer center with your specialist available immediately to provide the care that you're going to need, or the follow-up, or the individuals who know how to work with cancer patients, and knowing what their needs are and being able to quickly pull up their records. So we're really excited that they're going to have that 24-hour kind of continuity of care that will be available through our hospital. But again, in terms of our study is kind of small from the fact that we just want to better understand what are the challenges that our patients face for these different types of cancers. And as Yoli so well articulated, that mental health is a big one. And so we ask a lot of psychosocial issues, as well as nutritional issues, physical activity issues. Our battery of questions is quite long. So Yoli, thank you for, willing to participate, and we're getting better at asking them a little bit more quickly, but initially you could take up to 4 hours, but it's a wealth of information. We break up the questionnaires. If our patients are tired, we can say we can do it by Zoom. We can, go to your home. We really try to make it as easily as we can for the patient's convenience, because we are grateful for our patients participating.
What Dr. Ramirez said is some of the challenges is, fatigue. Personally speaking, from both as a researcher and a survivor as well, I can attest to, the treatments that you receive, chemotherapy, radiation, those all kind of come back to you and create some sort of health burden associated with this. So sometimes you may be tired, you don't want to leave the house, as Yoli mentioned, and it's difficult. And so a lot of what we do is our studies that we are accessible, right? We can do our visits via Zoom. We can go to your home. We can organize transportation for you, so that it is accessible. Some of our survivors are superheroes because they're the sole caregiver, the sole provider, and they're the ones working, putting food on the table, and they say, how can I make time when I don't have the means to? And I say, we'll work with you, just give us an hour, 30 minutes of your lunch break. Anything would be helpful, not only just to help you kind of mentally unpack some of the things that have happened, but also, we help future survivors as well. And so a lot of this is very, positive feedback loop, right? We're giving, but we're taking, and we're receiving, and it's all continuous, and it's all to help the greater good of our community.
And I gotta say, their team is just great. I don't know what y'all did, Dr. Ramirez and Dr. Rodriguez, but all those girls, oh my gosh, they're the sweetest girls ever. So it's like, why don't you want to spend time with them? They really are sweet.
Dr. Ramirez and Dr. Rodriguez, what's one thing that you've learned through your study that you wish everyone could know?
Gosh, for me is how giving our patients are. They have been phenomenal. Individuals such as Yoli and others just coming forward and sharing their stories, and also so that brings me just great joy, and their willingness to speak up and serve as role models for us to share with others, not only their journey, but why they wanted to participate in the study means a lot. But also, what still concerns me is why so many of our patients weren't able to participate because their cancers came back. And that statistics, I think, was truly unexpected from our part to see. And so, as has been said by all three of us, community education is so important. Knowing your body is so important. You're the one who knows when something really hurts. If somebody tells you no, but you're still not feeling well, go get that second opinion. Don't take it for granted that the person you went to should know it all. Don't hesitate to ask questions. And this is what we need to empower our community with, is that the knowledge that they need. We need to make sure that we're provided in a culturally appropriate manner, that's in English and Spanish, and so that they can feel comfortable in understanding that information and taking the actions that they need to reduce their risk for cancer.
I would say that exactly what Dr. Ramirez said. I mean, what we know now, going back a couple years when we inaugurally started this study, I mean, this study is a living, breathing project, everything changes. We come across different, facets of it. We, are saying, well, we are looking for survivors. We have minimal pockets of survivors here and there. And, not much we understood about metastatic cancer survivors as well. And they have a unique perspective and story. And so we started interviewing them and enrolling them. So I would just say be open to any and all things that may come your way when, conducting a study, or if you're a patient looking for clinical research studies, because um, there's a lot that we can learn because we don't know any and all of what we're trying to accomplish here. And there's just so much to uncover. So I would just say have a wide open mind about what things may come your way. It's not just one way. We have everything in a proposal in a project, but things may change because of our patient population. We have to kind of fit the mold in what our community has. What it holds, and how can we help them and better implement our strategies in order to better help them. And then obviously we're a team. I mean, we're not just a team here within the research study. Our patients are just as part of our team as, our clinical team right here at UT Health. So we're all in one. If there's something that, isn't going the, right way, or something is off, we are working together to better improve. And so we're always listening and actively engaging with our participants. We ask them how everything's going every single time they come visit, not just about their cancer journey, but also their personal lives too. I mean, we're people too, they're humans, and so they live day-to-day lives. So definitely, team science is a big must when doing studies like this.
We encounter things that we don't anticipate, and our team is really wonderful because we feel their burden, in trying to provide them with other resources that perhaps they had not heard about, and trying to make those connections. And that's the caring. And Yoli, thank you for the shout out for the team, because they really, truly, we were blessed to have this team come together. They've stayed with us. These are hard studies, to hear these stories, over and over again, and the hardships that our patients face, and not always having a potential solution for them, but knowing that by gathering this information, we will make a difference and help our patients, truly heal and recover, and find out, future ways to make things better for them.
By being a participant in the study that you wish everyone could know? You talked about how easy it is to be a part of it, the amazing team, but what's the one thing you've learned by being a part of this study that you wish everyone could know?
I think Derek used the word heroes, really. I mean, every cancer survivor is a hero. They have had their personal challenges that they've had to overcome with the treatments. As I mentioned before, these are not easy treatments. Then learning to live with the cancer afterwards, the limitations, as Yoli just said, the new you. Right. My husband's a colon cancer survivor, and I'm grateful he's 15 years out, and but he still struggles with what he can and cannot eat, and there is no formula, and you kind of teaching yourself about what you can and cannot do, and so just this resiliency that our patients have, but most of all, as Yoli said, live life to the fullest, because even when we're diagnosed with cancer, we have that second opportunity, and now's the time to not let it go.
Yoli, do you have anything to add?
No, nothing at all. Just thank you for this. I'm so excited that this information is going to go out to so many people, and therefore encourage others to join this study and to be a part of not only the study, but also get engaged with Debbie's Dream to help us share uh, awareness, right, about stomach cancer as a whole, and then now a study that's going to help us after we're cured.
Now, while the study addresses all cancers, what can we tell our audience from Debbie's Dream Foundation about resources you think are most lacking for stomach cancer survivors? And does this particular study address them?
We haven't. I'll let Yoli answer in terms of resources that are available from Debbie's Dream, but the study, it's going to take a while. As Derek said, 3 more years in the study to compile the information that we lead, and then we're going to, that we've gathered, and then we're going to have to kind of analyze it across the different types of cancers, see what are some commonalities, what are some differences, what are some of the uniquenesses that we need to focus on. But we do hope that we'll be coming up with those answers to be able to provide more direct attention.
And today, Debbie's Dream does an outstanding job of helping not only a patient that's going through treatment, but also a survivor by providing mentors, as I mentioned earlier. And we have incredible mentors that will drop everything to help someone who needs help, who has a question, who just needs a friendly ear. Because they're going through a tough time. So that in itself is huge, is to have a person to go to. That's what helped me. That's what kept me involved with Debbie's Dream, is having these people who care, who are there for you. So the mentorship program, they offer nutrition classes. I know Jen, as our new program director, has done an outstanding job of bringing more nutrition awareness to the Debbie's Dream Foundation community. And then through our advocacy program is going out there and meeting other people in person and sharing our stories and sharing our challenges, and more importantly, sharing solutions to our challenges. So Debbie's Dream Foundation on the website has whole lot of information for a patient or a survivor that needs some help or needs some direction. So yeah, Debbie's Dream Foundation is leading the way in helping a patient and a survivor, caregiver, anyone involved in a cancer journey.
So last question, how can Debbie's Dream help you spread the word about this amazing study?
Well, we need more stomach cancer survivors who would like to share their studies. If you live in South Texas, anywhere south of San Antonio, we're interested in hearing from you. You can go to our website to download more information, and then we'll have one of our research assistants, follow up. We do require, your electronic medical records. We have to confirm the diagnosis and so forth. But Derek, do you want to add more specifics to that?
Absolutely. We have a study website through the Mays Cancer Center. We are UT Health, but we are also, like I said, more so affiliated with Mays Cancer Center because we just go and do the interviews at that location. But you don't have to be treated at Mays Cancer Center to be a part of this study. If you were, within the Valley, or we have had participants from Corpus Christi even. If wherever they were treated with their oncologist or physician, we're more than happy to review your medical records. We have a email, Caminos, CAMINOS, at uthscsa.edu that you can reach out and contact us via email, and our research assistants will be available. Or you can call us at 210-562-6514. And a member from our team would be able to answer any questions that they may have.
And I think if, and something that I'll propose to Debbie's Dream is if we can put some of this information on our website and give information to our community at Debbie's Dream to let them know how phenomenal this research is and what it'll be like to have all this information at the conclusion of your study, and then encourage them through our website to contact you. So that might be something that I'd like to propose that we do. And in addition to yours specifically, Dr. Derek, for the South, the Valley, we might also want to include the study in Florida, specifically because our Debbie's Dream Foundation is headquartered in Florida. And I know you've got your part of your study out there too. So we'd like to kind of include them as well, so we can get more participants there.
That'd be awesome, really. Yes.
wrap up, we always end with our signature rapid fire segment, the gut check. It's 5 questions, no prep, answer from the heart, and no filter. Just say what's in your gut. All right? So, first question, Yoli, I'll direct this to you first. What's one thing you wish every stomach cancer patient knew?
That there's life after stomach cancer.
Dr. Ramirez, what's one thing you wish every stomach cancer patient knew?
Please share your information with your family. We find that oftentimes individuals don't share their cancer history, and it's important that that they know, because there are some genes that are more specific to stomach and colon and so forth. So knowing your genetic history and sharing that with family members is important.
Thank you. Dr. Rodriguez, what's one thing you wish every stomach cancer patient knew?
If they haven't yet, stomach cancer is not only caused by your, you know, poor diet or a burger you had or a lifestyle choice, right? Um, in reality, it can be influenced by a number of different, non-metabolic factors, like what Dr. Ramirez said, genetics, bacteria, right? H. pylori, which is something that lives within your gut, and this is something that you can go and screen yourself in and completely eliminate it from your system, from your microenvironment, and avoiding all of this. So if you know you've been diagnosed and you're a survivor, encourage your family members to do the same thing, because this is something that can be avoided and treated and caught early on. And family support is everything. So I know it's a little taboo sometimes to engage your family and to let them know that this is what's happening to you, but it's better to inform others about it, so that way they can take the best course of action for themselves as well.
Thank you. Yoli, can you please describe your stomach cancer journey in 3 words?
Fear, acceptance, surviving.
Dr. Ramirez and Dr. Rodriguez, if you had to describe the Avanzando Caminos program in 3 words, what would they be?
Mine would be knowledge, know about your cancer, action, participate in the study as much as possible, because we want you to live your life to the fullest.
All right. Dr. Rodriguez?
That would be passion, uh, for our patients, resilience for our study team, and because of our resilient patients that we come day to day, and visionary, because we will have a well thought out or many thought out answers soon after this study.
Yoli, the moment you'll never forget.
It's cancer. Yeah, it was a tumor. You pray that it's not cancer, but when you're told it's cancer, yeah, you can't forget that.
Dr. Rodriguez, the moment you'll never forget.
I'm gonna take this one as well, Yoli. I would say cancer too.
Mhm.
But mine was at a very early diagnosis. And I will never forget that, because that was the moment I decided to go into research and advocate not only for myself, but for others. And I feel like it's now led me to a fulfilling life where I get to share my journey, but also help others in a community. So it was a catalyst.
And Dr. Ramirez, the moment you'll never forget.
Finally convincing my husband to go in for his colonoscopy. And, I had to make a joke out of it because, he was like 5 years past the age that he should have gone in. And I had to make the appointment for him. And then the doctor came up and he says, I need you to come with him tomorrow. I need to share the results with both of you. And so it was cancer. And his entire large colon was removed. So yeah, I think, we all have in common here that cancer truly impacts all of us at an unexpected time. So
Dr. Rodriguez, a myth you want to bust about cancer.
That you're fine once it's completely, you're treated and you're cured. Um, I think a lot of people live in fear, cancer reoccurrence, and that's normal. Um, and another myth, of course, is once you're in the clear, everything goes back to normality. And there's fatigue involved. There are days where, you're not 100% yourself. Um, and again, that's something that is okay. It's your new normal. But it's definitely a myth that we strive to bust with this study and hopefully have a better outcome for uh, both instances for patients.
Yoli, a myth you want to bust about cancer.
That it's a death sentence, because it's not. As we know, the medical community is making huge strides to cure stomach cancer. And so it's no longer a death sentence, although when you're first told you have cancer, you immediately think it is. Immediately are fearful that it is, as I was. But no, it isn't. But like Dr. Rodriguez said, uh, will it ever be normal again? Maybe not, but it'll be as normal as you make it, and it's better than the alternative.
Dr. Ramirez, a myth you want to bust about cancer.
Well, Yoli beat me to it because that's all I hear is, that cancer is a death sentence in our communities, and that's why education and outreach and early screening are so important. But the other is participating in a clinical trial or research study is important because you're not a guinea pig. We are trying to learn from you and your experiences so that we can make life better. And so that's truly to encourage people to not worry about, clinical studies or research studies, that their participation is extremely important and their input is valuable. And that's the only way we can make research better.
Thank you. Now, very last question for the gut check. Yoli, finish this sentence for me, please. From the gut, I want people to know
That even though I went through this difficult journey, and even though my new normal is not what I would like it to be, I'm alive and I'm here for my babies and for my husband and for my family. And I'm thankful to God for that.
Thank you. Dr. Ramirez, finish this sentence, please. From the gut, I want people to know
That your actions matter, that we need you, and we want to make life better for you.
Thank you. And Dr. Rodriguez, if you could finish this sentence for me. From the gut, I want people to know
The people you surround yourself with or around you are going to be the ones and your motivators to push you through any difficult moment in time. And that once you're out of that difficult moment, you're going to see so much around you flourish. And you're going to have that same power to do the same for others that need it.
thank you. Heartwarming thank you to each and every one of you, Dr. Ramirez, Dr. Rodriguez, and Yoli, for sharing such raw and insightful stories and information. I think overall this episode has been very, very powerful. If you are a Latino cancer survivor in Florida or Texas and would like to be a part of the Avanzando Caminos study discussed on this episode through the University of Texas at San Antonio and the University of Miami, please contact Caminos at miami.edu, or as Dr. Rodriguez has stated before, Caminos at uthscsa.edu. To enroll, you must be 18 years or older, able to read in English or Spanish, willing to attend study visits, have completed primary treatment for breast, prostate, colon, kidney, liver, lung, stomach, or uterine cancer within the past 10 years. No signs of distant metastatic disease or stage 4 cancer with no disease progression in the past year. If today's episode moved you, please don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone. Also subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and check out all our resources at debbiesdream.org. And remember, whether you're a patient, survivor, caregiver, or doctor, we're in this together from the gut. Thank you again to all of our guests.